She just walked up to me and she said, "Do you guys have an office in Israel?" And we do. And I was sitting in a venture capital firm, and what you do is people come into the firm and they pitch their ideas. In 1 month, 2 different teams of Israelis came in with a technology for tracking users for the purposes of fraud detection. And it was a great technology because in the context of internet advertising, the problem was that you couldn't use sort of cookies to really understand what was going on, and both teams seemed to have a very intimate knowledge of how to solve this problem. Couldn't explain where they had obtained that, but they thought it was very effective for fraud purposes. But from my perspective, the technology they had wasn't actually that apropos for fraud. And the reason is no matter how good your technology is for subverting someone trying to do bad things to you, the bad guys will basically be in a spy versus spy relationship. But I listened to both of these teams and I thought, wouldn't this be great if it actually was used for advertising? Wouldn't it be great if we use their tracking technologies to solve problems that advertisers have in understanding what works and what doesn't work? And so I actually pitched this to both teams, and I said, would you be interested in advertising? They said, no, I don't like advertising. And a couple years went by. I actually started another company and sold another company. And that idea stuck in my head that this tracking technology could improve the performance of advertising. So one day, I actually went about 2.5 years ago to one of these Yossi Vardi events, and I got talking to Yossi Tagore, and I said I was interested in finding people who knew how to track for fraud purposes and maybe apply it for advertising. And Yossi Tagore took it on himself. He came down to my office in Santa Monica, and he started introducing me to people in Israel. And lo and behold, he introduced me to this great guy who was working at LivePerson, and that guy basically said, that's a problem I've always wanted to work on. I said, have you ever worked on it before? He said, maybe. So we actually went about building this technology. And what it did was it allowed us to really know every single thing a person does when they engage in marketing that leads to a conversion. And once we could do that really, really well, it was really easy. I gave up on this. I originally thought I was following the Iron Dome, and I was like, there's no way I'm leading you through a pitch. I better tell a story that's the least interesting. So what happened was we built this thing. It was very effective. And what we ended up doing was being able to not just measure which marketing works, but tell marketers which marketing they should spend money on. And then lo and behold, a couple companies started telling us this stuff was really good for measuring television. So basically, we're a company of about 40 people. We have clients like Chrysler, 1-800-Flowers, about 55 major brands, backed by Bessemer Ventures. The problem we solve is we tell you what's going wrong with marketing, what's doing. The interesting thing is our real business today is helping online marketers understand how TV is driving their business. That's what I meant when I said that some of our clients actually started telling us TV is where the money was at. And so what we learned was most of the big internet companies, when I say internet companies, think Geico, Progressive, 1-800-Flowers, people driving a customer to convert online, actually spend about $70 million on television and $30 million online. And that thing's not going away. A lot of people think like TV is a dead business, but it's not. And interesting enough, television advertising is disproportionately now direct response. It's not branding. And one of the ways we know that is because cable has overtaken broadcast, and cable is basically a channel for direct response. Just to make sure everyone knows, these are examples of brand and direct response types of companies. We work mostly with the direct response. And if you look at the top 10 advertisers online, most of them are in the top 10 advertisers on television. And so what we figured out was that television was increasingly becoming like search, the way that people bought search marketing. Because the CMOs liked what they were able to do with Google. They were like the way that they were able to buy search. And so CMOs started, can we buy television that way? Can't I put $1 million in and get $4 million out automatically? And that's what we did. We figured out a way to do that. And what we do is, this is actually a real client. It's a brand you know. They wouldn't like me telling you, but it's someone you know. And those spikes right there, that's when the television campaigns are hitting national television. And each one of those colors represent different marketing channels. The top one is when you type the name of the company. The next one is when you, the orange one is when you type something like vacations in New York. And you can see that when the television hits, every actual marketing channel lifts. And so what we did was we put a lot of math against this and figured out what's really going on here and what it can be attributed to television. If you knew exactly what worked and what didn't, you could tell your clients where to spend it and make them more money. We actually guarantee some of the biggest companies in the world for results that they expect in order to engage them. We've actually never lost a client, and we have no sales and marketing, all inbound leads. And one of the most interesting things is mobile, because when the television hits, mobile response goes from 7% for our average clients to 35%. So if you're kind of geeky, that's a great signal for understanding that people are actually responding to TV. And then the result of that is then we provide, in an iPad format, it turns out, because our CMOs love iPads, the ability to actually allocate and reallocate television budgets on the fly. So by tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., they'll have all the information of what happened at close of business New York. And the reason we do this is because it was based on a fundamental patent-pending fingerprinting technology that actually came out of Israel, and that's where all my team there works on. And then the ability to do a bunch of big data stuff, mobile tracking, et cetera. So we get pretty amazing results. We've reduced, on average, the cost per lead 25%, increased spend, big results, people love us. This is the kind of stuff that happens. We actually allow people to spend more money because they're going to get more money back. And that's Convertro, and I'm really excited and thrilled taxpayer in Israel. And my team has been wonderful. They're definitely not a low-cost option, but it's been a fabulous experience, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
We're happy that you're here, too.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. We love companies that are both in Southern California and in Israel.
By the way, we bring them over here 10 days every quarter. Come by. It's a great event.
All right, beautiful. Thank you so much. We appreciate everything you do.
Thank you very much.
And please come back again next year. Big round of applause for Convertro.